How you doing, Bobby J?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Doing well. This is a big adjustment.
I know, man. It's fucking crazy.
Usually we're inside of a studio at St. John's University at WSJU, but tonight we're Zooming.
Hey, man. This is the new wave. It seems. I've done a bunch of these at this point already.
Yeah? How many have you done, you think?
Like a lot of shit through IG.
Oh, no.
I just did this dude Jay Hart show through Skype, FaceTime, like whatever works best. You know what I mean? I like to at least be in my studio though and have my computer camera on because I hate the phone camera.
Yeah, because you gotta hold it the whole time.
Plus, it's a quality shit.
Yeah, the quality's terrible. So we're all looking forward to the new album here. I know I am.
Hey, man, I'm just. I've been sitting on the music for a while. That's like the hardest part is, I put out Summer Classics and, maybe 2 or 3 months later, I immediately went to work on this one. And it was a pretty quick process. So just having it finished and like, having to wait to put it out is the hardest thing. But it's like, you got to make sure all your ducks are in a row. I made sure I had videos ready, made sure all the marketing team behind it. And now it's like, now that everything's in place, I can start to move forward with it. But yeah, man, I'm just excited. I'm just excited to put it out.
Tell me when you met Static Selector for the first time and how did the idea come about in creating this new project?
Well, I met Static working on the last album. We did the first song, Walter
White, yep.
And then we got together and did another one called Blue Eyed Soul. And I really liked the direction that Blue Eyed Soul was going in, you know what I mean? And I kind of wanted to make this project a continuation of that, like an expansion and a continuation of what I did on certain songs on Summer Classics. And me and Static, have been floating the idea of possibly doing a project together. And I think once we did Blue Eyed Soul, it kind of changed my perspective on things and kind of wanted to go in that summertime direction, like Tribe Called Quest, Far Side, De La Soul, that laid back summer vibe, as opposed to where Summer Classics kind of had, this duality to it where there's like super energetic songs and then there was some more laid back shit. I kind of wanted to go in that laid back direction and at the same time give listeners more of like a peek into my life, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely a lot more personal elements to this EP, you know what I'm saying? With songs like, Autumn Leaves and Ungrateful and stuff like that. So I definitely wanted to get a little more personal and just go a little more in that like laid back direction. But yeah, man, when I went to meet with Static in his studio, I kind of articulated that to him, not as almost in a way that I'm doing now, like just vaguely telling him like, yo, I want to make records that are reminiscent of like Far Side and, DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, Summertime, like just that type of vibe. And he knew exactly what I was talking about. Just started playing beats, probably played 100 beats. And I maybe narrowed those down to like 20. And then from that 20, I chose the best 5. So it was crazy, man, because his arsenal of music is so expansive. We could sit there and he'll play beats all day. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a real task to just, break those down into the ones that ended up making the project.
Now, what does he use to produce his beats? Does he use the MPC? From what you've seen?
Honestly, I've seen him make beats strictly on Pro Tools. You know what I mean? Like, literally just standing there and watching him. I'll see him flip a sample using the Pro Tools grid. He can play the piano and do, he could do beats on the MPC, but I think his method, right now, where he's at now, he's mainly making beats on Pro Tools, which I've never seen a producer do that before. I've always worked with Kwame where he's using like actual hardware and I see him bang out the beats like in real time. So to see somebody like actually use the the Pro Tools grid and chop samples and chop beats up that way, that's incredible to me. I've never seen anybody do that before.
How long has the project been done for now?
Uh, Maybe like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like the vibe of the album, especially with the first single "Where I'm From," like it has that summertime feeling to it. So I didn't want to put it out, in the winter or the spring. I wanted it to kind of be a lead into the summer season because I just feel like that fits the zone of the music a lot more. So it was being strategic in that sense, but also making sure I had all the videos done, making sure the rollout was right with the marketing and everything. So there was a lot of pieces that I wanted to be in place before, I pushed the button on it. So, first single's finally out now. Where I'm From is out, the video's out, and next single is going to be Autumn Leaves, which comes out this Wednesday.
29th.
And then the project on May 5th. Yeah, it's 29th. So, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and we're all looking for. I know I am. We still need more of that real hip hop out here, and that's what you're doing. And I want to get into the album cover too. Who designed that? We all know.
Yeah,
I'll show it to
man,
the audience
the
here.
album cover.
There we go. Yep. Show it to the audience.
That's actually a press pic from. Actually thinking about using that picture that my boy James Petrozello took of me sitting,
On Far Rockaway, right? Let's see. Hold on, I think it's paused now.
the
You can hear me?
project. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you kind of, yeah, it paused for some reason.
Sorry, the internet gets a little.
Yeah, internet's. I wish you were back in the station.
Yeah, dude, that's the technical difficulties you got to deal with these days now. Yeah, so anyway, that picture was originally supposed to be the back cover to Summer Classics, but ended up not getting used. So I used that picture for this project because I knew that the follow-up was going to be called Endless Summer.
Oh
It's
no.
going to be called Endless Summer. Before I even went into, am I still breaking up?
Yeah, it's like stuck again. Or now it's
Can you
good.
hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
All right, yeah. So I knew I was going to call it Endless Summer before I even went into record it with Static. That was like the title I wanted to use. So I used that picture and have my boy Brian, who does all like my graphics and my art design for my projects, manipulate the photos so that it matched the Endless Summer movie color scheme. So my boy James Petrozello took the picture. My boy Brian flipped it with the colors and did the artwork on the track listing as well.
Mm-hmm. And like you mentioned before, you just released Where I'm From, the first single off the album.
Yeah.
Get into the video shoot. That's a great video, by the way, too.
Yo.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. it got stuck again.
No, it's all good, bro. The video shoot was actually, it's kind of crazy because it's the last video that we shot for the project. And we shot it on March 7th, which is every first Saturday in March in Rockaway. They have the Rockaway St. Patrick's Day Parade. So, I knew I wanted to capture people in the neighborhood, like in their own natural element, like just get my friends, like everybody hanging out, get, shots of the parade, and just show what the local culture is like when the parade's happening, and also get the shots on the beach and stuff. But it's just crazy because a week later, that's when the quarantine went into effect.
You just made it. You just got that shot just in time.
Yeah, like we got it by, I got it by the skin of my teeth, and we got to capture not only the Rockaway St. Patrick's Day Parade, but just like a part of New York City life that we're not going to see for a while. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea when we're going to be able to congregate like that in the numbers that we did. And, I'm just glad that we got to get it on film and, people from the neighborhood got to see it, you know, and see people that they know in the video. And, you know, it's just bittersweet because the video came out exactly how I wanted it to, but, you know, it's just sad that, you know, we're kind of confined to our houses at this time. And, you know, it's, it's cool to reminisce on a time when we could all be together, but you know, we just have no idea when we're going to be able to actually get out and hang out with each other and be able to, you know, give each other handshakes and hugs and stuff like that. It's just a crazy time, you know.
It is, and I hope we get out soon, but I don't know, it's not looking like it, especially in Queens. Like, how are things looking down there by you right now? I heard it's the worst in New York.
I mean, Queens is definitely, you know, the hot spot for coronavirus. I know, ironically, Corona Queens is like the most affected area. For me,
How ironic,
Rockaway,
too.
yes, that's what I said. You know, it's crazy. Can't make this shit up. But with Rockaway, you know, we're kind of isolated. You know, we're kind of our own little spot. You know, separated from mainland Queens for the most part. But
Yeah.
you know, we still have to go through the same precautions as everybody else. Like I don't leave the house without a mask and gloves. You know, I've been trying to, you know, only go out when absolutely necessary. You know, I make my grocery runs and then I'm pretty much back home. So, you know, I'm just waiting it out like everybody else, and everybody else seems to be doing the same thing. You know, it's not. I'm anxious to see what it's like when the summer hits and you know it starts to be beach weather. You know, I hope that people can kind of relax a little bit, not do what California's doing right now, but you know, people are going to do what they're going to do. You know, it's hard to tell, you know, people, you know, that they can't do something, especially in America, especially in New York City. So, you know, we'll see how it pans out. But as of right now, everybody seems to be doing good. You know, following the protocols and stuff. But you know, it's just a hurry up and wait thing. You know, and we're doing what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. It's a shame that you really didn't have an album release party out in the open, especially in a space somewhere at a party or something, in a venue, with all this going on
Yeah.
now. So now you're gonna have to hold something online. Have you thought about doing something over IG Live when the album drops?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna be doing that. Trying to plan something out now with this local Facebook group that's got like 30,000 members. That's like, you know, kind of been a escape for like all the neighborhood people that are just sitting in quarantine.
Yeah.
Bunch of local DJs and stuff get on and play. So I'm definitely gonna do something where I perform the project. I'm just trying to get all that ironed out now. But yeah, man. I mean, once again, uh, it's funny. You know, I've been waiting on this music, sitting on this music for so long. As soon as I get ready to release it, this happens. So you know, it's like you can't win. But look, at the same time, people are home. They want to be entertained. You know, there's a lot more, you know, eyes and ears on things right now because there's nothing for people to do. They're either watching TV, playing video games, or you know, listening to music, or trying to create something themselves. So, you know, hopefully the music I put out can kind of help people get through what's going on right now.
I hope so. For the people that haven't listened to the first single and the one that drops the 29th, or whoever you haven't sent the album to yet, what are some of the vibes that people can expect off this new project?
Well, the first single, "Where I'm From," is definitely in that, you know, I miss those classic summer anthems. You know what I mean? Whether it's East Coast hip hop, West Coast hip hop, like everything I do is classic hip hop inspired. So, you know, I feel like a lot of artists that aren't following in the lane of doing like trap music or drill or like quote unquote mumble rap or whatever.
Oh God. Yeah.
If it's an East Coast artist, you know, a lot of guys are doing like super grimy street records. You know, guys like Griselda, like they own that lane, and I love that stuff. But for me, like I'm not trying to ride the coattails of you know what anybody else is doing, and for me, I miss those summertime New York records, those fun records, or not even just New York, just like those classic, you know, feel good, you know, shit that you could play at a barbecue, shit that you could play, you know, on the beach. And you know, a lot of my inspiration going into this project was thinking about, you know, the times I'd be on the beach with my friends, like drinking and hanging out, and the songs that would play in the background. And I wanted to make a project that was reminiscent of that, you know, something that I can make. Like I want to make songs that could play now. You know, when I'm with my friends on the beach, like I want to be able to put my shit on. So um, that's what they can expect on this project. I think Where I'm From, the first single, is like the perfect example of that. You know what I'm saying? Like with the Far Side Running vocal sample, you know, that popped into my head as soon as I heard the beat, you know, and the hook came to me immediately. So, you know, that's the type of shit people can expect on this. I think with Autumn Leaves, it's a little more of a serious record, definitely more personal. Talks about, you know, my father's death, his suicide, how I processed that. You know, I wanted to make like an open letter to him, bring him up to speed on what's going on with my life. And, you know, I think anybody that's gone through a similar situation like that will be able to relate. So there's definitely a duality to it. You know, Where I'm From is more on the fun side of things. Autumn Leaves is more on the personal side. And it's a short project. You know, it's only 5 records produced by Static and then 2 bonus records. So, you know, I try to go through a range of emotions, you know, in a really short period of time.
Yeah, and as I told you last week or the week before, every day is the same now. So when you sent me the whole project and I gave it a good listen, I said to you, Autumn Leaves is my favorite right off the bat.
Yeah, man, I think that's a lot of people's favorite. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely a personal favorite for me. It's a song that it's territory I've treaded on before, but it's a song I've been wanting to make for a long time. I just didn't have the right music for it. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to say, but you know, sometimes you just hear those beats like Static played that beat, and I just knew that was going to be something that I was going to be able to express myself the way I wanted to over. So really, it's just an open letter to you know, my dad, addressing things that I never got to address, talking to him about my how I felt about certain things, and also, like I said, bringing him up to speed on what's going on in my life, because it's like I never got the chance to tell him so many things in this 12 years since I lost him.
Yeah.
So that was really important for me to put that on record.
And I think you got the message through very well for people. And it's touching. And my condolences to you as well. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, that's definitely a great record, and you put a lot of emotion into it. And that's what hip hop today is missing, the emotion in records, the storytelling, and you're helping to put that back into the game right now.
Yeah, man. You know, it's just I think on the last project I proved I could rap, and you know, I just know that if I'm not elevating, I'm not moving forward. So you know, I want the fans and the people that found out about me on the last album to kind of grow with me and like get to know me more as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because if people can't connect with you on a personal level, I don't feel like they're ever going to connect with you as an artist, period. You know, like all of my favorite rappers, all of my favorite artists, you know, I know things about them personally because they put it in their music. And, you know, that's my goal moving forward, like just to get people to get to know me better.
And Summer Classics definitely established that too.
Yeah, for sure.
It made a statement that this is Bobby J from Rockaway and I'm here, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You know, not to say, you know, there's nothing personal on Summer Classics. You know, I just wanted to dig a little deeper on this one, especially since it's not a full-fledged album. You know, it's only 5 records, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like in a lot of ways, it's harder to get your point across with less than more. You know, I knew I only had a certain amount of time and a certain amount of songs to get my point across. So, you know, my goal was to dig as deep as I could within the you know, allotted time frame. You know.
And I always say that nowadays too: quality over quantity.
Yeah, definitely.
As you just messaged, you know, it's better to have less than more to get the message across.
Yeah, man. I think, you know, in a lot of cases, less is more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I really have a desire to make a full length album anymore. Well, at least at this point, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to be able to give people tidbits like every 3 to 6 months. You know what I mean? Just gives me a lot more freedom to like put shit out, and you know, making a full album was, at least for somebody like me that is a perfectionist and is just kind of never happy. You know, a full length album that's 15 to 20 songs is something that took me like a year and a half, 2 years before I was even happy with the direction it was going. You know what I'm saying? So when it's an EP or a more short form project, you know, it just gives me more space to, you know, get creative and take my time, but at the same time be able to not take these huge hiatuses between projects. You know?
Yeah, you're able to balance things out more and get it developed how you want to. And that's important from an artist standpoint because if you look at all these mumble rappers, trap artists, they're just constantly putting out music. But does it really stick around forever? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. You know, and that's the kind of artist that I want to be. You know, I want to make music that stands the test of time. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to at least look back on my own work and whether it's 2 years later, 5 years later, be able to look back in retrospect on stuff I did and say, hey, like, you know, maybe I'm a better artist right now and I've progressed as a songwriter, but you know, I'm still proud of the work that I did and what I put out, and I can still stand behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A great example of that would be where I'm from. We can listen to that at St. Patrick's Day next year, at the parade next year. You know what I mean? We can listen to that every year coming.
Exactly.
We can't do that with a lot of songs. It ages. For some reason, that real hip hop, it never ages.
Yeah, man. I just think, you know, there's certain music, like there's certain albums and there's certain records. It doesn't matter if it's 20 years old, 25 years old, 30 years old. You know, you put it on today and it sounds as clean as it did, you know, the day it came out. And again, you know, I keep going back to artists like Tribe, like, you know, Farside, like De La Soul, like, you know, those guys are the inspiration behind a lot of what I do. You know, they just made timeless hip hop records, and you know, especially with guys like Tribe, they weren't trying to be anything other than what they were. You know, it wasn't trying to be hard, it wasn't trying to be street, but at the same time, the people that listened to street music and the people that were from the street respected what they were doing. You know, it just had a universal appeal, and that's how I want to come across. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to come across in a way that, you know, everybody can relate to, everybody can gravitate towards.
On Summer Classics, you did a song with Lil Fame from MLP. You've also made a song with Mr. Cheeks. Who are some other hip hop legends that you want to work with further into your career?
I mean, definitely Premier, 100%. You know, just as a producer, like he's one of the reasons I do this. You know, LL would be a definite for me. You know, Black Thought is probably my favorite rapper of all time.
The Roots.
Yeah, like obviously Jay, Nas, Eminem, that's obvious. But you know, just damn, like LL is always a constant. Like I would love to work with LL, just because I respect not only like his longevity and like what an incredible artist he is and how he stays relevant, but I always just respected, you know, how he did it. He always put out, you know, a street record and then had a song for the clubs or a song for women. You know, he had a balance to how
versatility.
He did it, you know,
Yep.
and a versatility that you don't see in a lot of rappers. So I would love to work with him. Obviously, Black Thought, like I said, you know, probably my number one all-time lyricist. Method Man is another one. You know, Method Man is like, you know, top three for me.
The Cow.
Beyond that,
great album.
yeah, like just like the way he flows, the way he puts his words together. You know, he's somebody that, you know, is damn near 30 years in the game and he keeps getting better. You know, somebody like that is just has my ultimate respect. So I would love to work with Meth. Redman, obviously. New guys, obviously, like I would love to work with a Kendrick or a J. Cole or like a YBN Cordae. You know,
Did you see YBN Corday's freestyle that he did over a boom bap track?
Nah, but you know, he's dope as shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, I don't know his whole catalog, but everything I've heard from him is really dope. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the younger artists like I really like.
How about Griselda?
So, oh man, incredible. Like I love those guys. I love what they're doing. I love that they don't care about fitting into any type of mold. You know, they make like New York boom bap music. They don't care about, you know, trying to appease anybody, or trying to make like that microwave, you know, radio record.
Yeah.
And they got, you know, they just have that organic fan base. So I love them, man. And I feel like every day I go back and forth on which one of them I like the best. Like one day I like West Side Gun, the next is Benny, the next is Conway, you know, and then, you know, they got the extended family too, like dudes like 38 Special and like Flea Lord, like those guys are fire. So I would love to work with them.
As you mentioned before about Method Man, he just gets better with time within the 30-year career he's had. How would you feel, or how about you get in to tell me how you've done things better with Endless Summer than Summer Classics? What did you do better on this upcoming project?
I just think, you know, I'm starting to understand what works for me sonically, like what beats I sound really good over, you know, how to put more of myself and my own personality on a record. I think I've gotten better at storytelling. I think I've progressed as a lyricist. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's a natural evolution. You know, the more songs you write, the more you're in the studio, the better you get. You know, a lot of those songs were they weren't hard for me to write. You know, it wasn't me mulling over concepts for days and days. Like a lot of those beats certain beats just prompt me to get to work. You know what I mean? Like I queued up a lot of those beats and the songs came to me like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best way for me to create when everything's organic and I don't feel like I'm pushing it too hard or I'm trying to force, you know, myself to write something. And that's not always the case. In the past, you know, there's times where I'll come back to a song 3 or 4 times or scrap it and redo it. You know, so this project was real, just free flowing, organic. You know, the concepts came to me easy. I knew what I wanted to say, and you know, it was an easy process. But that's not to say that I don't think the work was good. You know what I mean? I think personally this is my best work to date. So you know, I'm just happy it came out the way it did, because I definitely had a vision in my head. I knew what kind of statement I wanted to make, and you know, Static just completely delivered. You know, I told him what I wanted, and he gave me everything I wanted and more. You know what I'm saying? Like there was certain beats that brought something out of me that I didn't think I was going to bring to the table. You know, writing this project. So you know, I just hope that the people that listen to it and the fans, you know, feel the same way about it that I do. You know what I'm saying? Because there's times where I think, you know, I made something great and it doesn't get the response that, you know, I think it is. So, you know, at this point, once I put it out, it's in the people's hands. They get to determine, you know, whether they like it more than Summer Classics. But, you know, at the end of the day, that debate is good, man. As long as you're listening, that's all I care about.
I saw him on Instagram Live spinning the songs from Endless Summer too. He's just spinning them a lot.
Yeah, man, it's dope. You know, he gets on again. Like everybody's adjusting to the quarantine, so he's been going on live pretty much every night doing DJ sets from his kitchen. You know, one night I was literally laying in bed about to go to sleep. It was like maybe 1:30 in the morning, and he texts me. He's like, "Yo, mind if I preview a song off the project?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And he's like, "Yo, people are in the chat requesting it." So, you know, he showed me a lot of love. He's been dropping it. He dropped it the other night too. He played Where I'm From on Shade 45 last Thursday. So, you know, he's been a real big supporter, man. Like, it's just dope to have somebody that, you know, I really respect as a producer and look up to as just a figure in hip hop, like to co-sign me and you know, stand behind the project that we're doing together and, you know, play my records, man. It's like I count my blessings every day, you know.
What are some of the most important things that you learn from working with Static? Because you told me in the past what you learned from Kwame. He taught you how to rhyme on beat. What are some of the things that Static has taught you?
I don't know. He's never really like sat me down and taught me anything. I think a lot of the stuff I've learned is just watching how he moves. Like for me, I just respect his hustle. Like he's a complete workhorse. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, if I could go to the studio and he could play 1,000 beats and not even be halfway through the stash of what he has. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always creating, he's always working on something new. You know, I think if you look over, 2019 and 2020, like he's probably got like 10 projects that have his name on it, maybe even more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so his output is just ridiculous, and he just doesn't stop. He just keeps pushing and keeps moving forward, and that's an inspiration to me because it's like, damn, like every time you think you're working hard, like there's somebody out there that's working harder than you. So for me, like I just kind of internalize that and try to apply it to myself. I can always be creating new stuff. I can always be putting more stuff out. I can always be pushing myself to do better and just up my work ethic. So just watching him and how he moves has taught me a lot. As opposed to him just sitting me down and giving me some game.
What's his favorite song off Endless Summer?
You know what? I really don't know. I want to say that he thinks Autumn Leaves is the best song. Just because he's, a lot of producers are the same. You kind of go in the booth, you do your thing. They don't give you much of a reaction. The producers are more inclined to tell you if something is wrong as opposed to telling you, I like that or that's really dope, jumping up and down out of their seat because he's worked with everybody.
Yeah.
So it's more or less like, if there's no criticism, you did your job. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very hard on myself. So I'll be like, yo, you like it? Do you think I should have said this different? Do you think I should do this different? So as long as we're on the same page, everything is good. But, after I did Autumn Leaves, I got out and he was like, damn, that's about your pops? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that's some deep shit, man. Like he was like, he kind of sat back in his seat a little, and I could tell that, he was affected by what I was saying. So even like those little reactions, I know that song, meant something to him. So, I'm not going to speak for him on what his favorite song is. That'd be a question that you'd have to ask him. But I know just during the process of making the project, that got the biggest reaction out of him, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. I'm sure you sent it to Kwame too.
Yeah, man. Like he loves the project as well, man. Like he's just, he's like a big brother to me. So he's just happy to see me elevating and like expanding, working with other people and like testing new stuff out. So, he's a litmus test for me too. Like if I send him something and he doesn't like it, I'm gonna rework it. But, he loved the project, and just to get that stamp of approval as well, that means everything,
It's important, and when you have the backing of a hip hop legend like that, you're good to go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm a lucky guy,
Yeah. I also want to talk about the performance that happened with Kwame. You were the one that helped put it together, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to take credit for that. What I had been telling Kwame, because 2 months ago, if I told Kwame to go live on Instagram, it would be like me telling him to jump off a cliff. Like he could be very, and I think a lot of it boils down to he comes from an era where, there was mystique around artists. Like there wasn't always this like direct line to somebody you listen to. You either had to see them on TV or you see them in concert. So the idea of him like turning on his phone and going on live like didn't make sense to him. You know what I'm saying? But I think once the quarantine happened, I started pretty much nudging him like, yo, everybody's at home. We gotta figure out a way for you to utilize your audience. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's going on live. Like figure out something we could do on Instagram Live where, whether it's a weekly thing or whatever, but like I'm telling you, man, like you just got to do something because you have an audience that wants to hear from you. And he hit me one night. He's like, I think I got an idea. He's like, I agree with you. I just know whatever I do, it has to be something special. It can't just be me talking to the audience. It has to be an event. So he hit me one night and was like, yo, I'm thinking about putting together pretty much like an Instagram festival. Like I'm just gonna I'm gonna put the word out there, see what the response is like, and go from there. And he told me his idea, that he was gonna hit like a bunch of classic hip hop artists, see if they'd be down to get on his IG live and do one classic song each. Um, and lo and behold, he put out a video. Pretty much told his Instagram following what he was trying to do. People started tagging artists like crazy in his comments. And then a week later, he did it. We were expecting maybe a couple hundred people to tune in. I think the minute he went on live, he had like 4,000 people in the room. And when it was all said and done, there was like 27 classic hip hop artists that came through and did, records that everybody knows him for. He had Special Ed, he had Prince Marky D, he had JJ Fad, he had Dana Dane, LL Cool J was trying to get in, Biz Markie was trying to get in. Biz ended up doing the second one that he did, as did Big Daddy Kane. We had Kid from Kid and Play, Moni Love. It was Chubb Rock. Like I can't even name all of them off the top of my head, but it was just a surreal thing, man. Like building up to it, we thought, wow, this thing could go completely off a cliff. Like this could fail. This could fail miserably. Like we were worried about all the who never go on Instagram, like trying to figure out how to join an IG live. But it went down, and it had its hiccups, but it was literally a legendary day, man. Like he made history that day, and I was lucky enough to be the one rapper, not from that era, that got to get on and do my thing. And it was just dope, man. It was an honor to be able to get on and perform for the people, and just be in the company of all these legendary people. So it's pretty much been a weekly thing for him to get on Instagram Live now moving forward. He does a thing called Saturday Morning Tunes. He DJs, and I think probably once a month we're gonna try and keep doing the classic hip hop concert. As long as people are down to do it, he's gonna want to do it. So we're trying to set up the next one now. But like I said, I can't take 100% credit for that. It was his idea. I just kind of put the battery in his back and tried to get him to do it. But he saw the result. Before he did it, he had like 40,000 Instagram followers. Now he's close to like 80. So it definitely made his stock go up. So I don't think he's gonna stop anytime soon.
Yeah, I've been seeing you going to other people's lives. I saw you on Easy Mo Bees one time too.
Yeah, man. I try to check them all out. You know what I mean? Like, especially people I'm fans of, like Easy Mo B. Another dude that I forgot to mention before. Like his work was so influential to me. Like Legal Drug Money, Ready to Die. The stuff he did with Pop. Those songs from the '90s were so influential for me. So I always try to support him when I can, and he definitely deviates on his DJ sets. Like he'll do house sets, he'll do funk sets, he'll do soul sets. Like he's not just spinning hip hop. So I like to check in and see what he's doing. Obviously, Premier, when he goes live, I'm always checking in. Static, I'm always checking in. DJ Wonder from Shade 45, like he does like a lot of creative shit with the Instagram live. D Nice, obviously, he pretty much set it off for the whole explosion of the Instagram live sessions. But yeah, man, like I'm a fan first. So if people are on live and I'm a fan of them, like I'm gonna check them out.
Who's your favorite set so far? Out of all of them, if you had to choose one, you could only tap into on the live.
Well, I'm biased. I'm gonna say, I think what Kwame did was the dopest so far.
For DJ sets, I meant for DJ sets.
Oh, DJ sets. Man, I don't think anyone can top what D Nice did. D Nice made history. Just the sheer amount of people that were in that room was insane. I've never seen anything like that before. And aside from that, I love what Tim and Swiss Beats are doing with the IG battles too. That's incredible.
Babyface and Teddy Riley too.
Yeah, man. Like, just goes to show, like, what can be done, if you get the right people involved.
Have you heard that Dr. Dre and Puff Daddy are going to be having a beat battle soon?
I heard that that was a possibility. I didn't know it was confirmed yet, but that'll be crazy.
Yeah.
That'll be crazy. I'll definitely be watching that.
Who do you think's going to win that?
I mean, I'm gonna say Dre.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, it's. I guess it's weird because it's like Dre has made beats. Dre has also been more of like the background producer where he's worked with
Scott Storch.
Musicians and kind of been like the maestro putting the music together, but always having like the final say and like how the record sounds, stuff like that. Just being a producer in the more traditional sense. And I think someone like Puff is kind of like that as well. Like Puff was never really like the beat maker guy. He was more of the producer in the traditional sense where he kind of assembles all the talented people in the room and helps guide the directions of the record. It's more of like an executive producer role. So I'd be interested to see what songs like is Puff just playing any hits from the Bad Boy catalog? You know what I'm saying? Like, are songs that weren't quote unquote produced by Puff gonna be able to be played? Same thing with Dre. Like, there's beats like Still Dre. Obviously, he had Scott
Storch do the keys. Yep.
Has had other producers that he's worked with over the course of his career. I'm gonna imagine that everything is fair game. Anything that came out under the Death Row Aftermath umbrella that Dre has his name on, and anything that came out under Bad Boy that Puff has his name on as an executive producer is going to be fair game. But gun to my head, I'm going to have to say Dre. Although I don't think you could really discount how many incredible songs Bad Boy has. You know what I'm saying? But I just think when it comes down to it, those Dre songs are gonna win out 100%.
We look at the two record labels from back in the day, Death Row Records and Bad Boy Records. If you had to choose one catalog from the record labels, either Bad Boy or Death Row, which one are you going with?
It's tough to say because like I say like Ready to Die is probably like one of my favorite albums of all time. I don't think Ready to Die would exist though without like a Doggy Style and a Chronic Row preceding it. So, man, Dre's got NWA, he's got the Chronic, he's got Snoop, he's got Eminem, he's got 50, he's got Game. Like, I don't know, man. He's got too many classics that were under his. Under his umbrella. So I would have to say Dre. But again, man, like Bad Boy, you have Puff, you got Biggie, you got Mace, you got the Lox, you have guys like Mario Winans, you know what I'm saying? Like the Hitmen, and all the work that the Hitmen did.
112.
Wasn't just Bad, 112, Faith Evans. Well, was Faith actually a Bad Boy artist? I get confused.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like
Craig Mack.
Craig Mack. She's in that Puff ecosystem, but yeah, man, it's like you can't discount that either. And Bad Boy was definitely a huge part of why I got into hip hop and started rapping in general. But I just think like as an adult and just looking back on the catalogs and putting them up against each other, Dre's output is just unmatched, man. Like he's like the rap Quincy Jones. So it'd be really hard to find any producer that could really, really go up against the work that he's done.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that one of your favorite albums is Ready to Die by Biggie Smalls. What makes you choose that one as your favorite over Life After Death? Because people often argue that Life After Death is his best album.
I just think Ready to Die was just the first rap album that like I really fell in love with. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother had a stack of albums in his room, and that was one of them. And it was just an album that I used to just kill from top to bottom. I used to play it over and over and over and over and over again. And I just think even more so, like it was the gateway for me to be able to appreciate something like an Illmatic or a Reasonable Doubt. Because it kind of whet my palate. It was like, it's the perfect introductory rap album for me. It has the perfect balance of like commercial songs, street songs, you know, storytelling tracks, like straight like hip hop shit. It's just a really well crafted and produced album. You know, it has all the elements that I'm looking for when I look for like a well rounded project. So it just has a special place for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard it when I was real young, and it just kind of opened the door for me and kind of primed me to like everything else that I liked after that.
What's your favorite song off Ready to Die?
Um, Probably the What or Unbelievable, ironically.
Yeah. The What with Method Man. It's a great one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's fire.
yeah, man.
Unbelievable was done by Primo.
Yep. Yeah, man. Like those two records, like I mean the whole album, man. Whole album. Give Me the Loot. You know, Machine Gun Funk. Like again, Easy Mo B. You know, the whole album is it's dope from top to bottom. You know, except for track 15, there's no skips on the album. What's it called? Just a Friend. I don't like Just a Friend,
Uh-huh.
but replace Just a Friend with Who Shot You, and it's a perfect album. You know what I mean? So it's you don't really get a lot of albums like that anymore, where it's like the perfect story arc. You know, not a bad song on it. Production's incredible. The rapping's incredible. You know, highly influential. It's that to me. That's my number one of all time.
What would you say was the best album of 2019? Besides yours. I thought yours was a great album.
Uh, 2019. What even came out this past year, man? Dude, like, see now you're putting me on the spot.
Dave East Survival.
You know what? I don't even think I heard that from top to bottom. Did Drake come out 2019?
Drake. I don't think so.
Was that 2018 or 2019?
I think that was 2018. Wait, I think he did. Yeah, he did release something last year, Drake. He released, what was it, Care Package. He released Care Package, but it was songs from over the years, so I didn't really count it.
What year did Scorpion come out?
I think that was either I think that was 20.
You know what? Whose album was real dope? I liked Game. I like Game's album.
Oh, Born to Rap. That was a great album.
Born to Rap was dope. Like you have to give me some. You have to throw some names at me because like I'm getting the lines blurred between. You're talking 2019 or 2020?
2019.
2019.
Because we're only 4 months into 2020, so I haven't really thought about the best albums of 2020. So I'm going back to 2019.
Yeah, I'm gonna say summer classics. I don't know. I thought Revenge of the Dreamers was dope. Again, Game was dope. Shit, man. I'm really blanking.
Griselda's WWCD.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, bro. Like honestly, like a lot of new stuff. I don't really seek out. And
Lost Tapes 2.
Lost Tapes 2 was fire. A lot of stuff like I'm not really seeking out, man. Like it's certain songs have to reach me. Oh, I liked Ross's album. I liked Port of Miami 2. Port of Miami 2 was dope. Again, like songs gotta reach me, man. It's not like me being a hater or anything like that. I just don't like to listen to a lot of new music and feel like I'm being influenced by it. I'm more of like a go back in time type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to go back in time and, you know, revisit old classics or rediscover stuff that, you know, I never, you know, listened to or gave a chance to. Like I'm definitely an old soul, man. Like I'm listening to break beats and like funk and soul music or like classic rock or like just obscure shit. You know what I'm saying? If it's hip hop, you know, I'm definitely going back in time. You know, if it's a new project I'm listening to, it's because somebody like literally told me like, yo, this is something you have to listen to, or I just randomly give it a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got 4 classic albums on the wall. I could tell the Beastie Boys. You got License to Ill, Paul's Boutique.
Yeah, this changes every so often. I try to, you know, rotate, but I got 36 Chambers, Midnight Marauders. I got License to Ill and Paul's Boutique up there. Yeah. So
are those vinyls or they're just pictures?
those are vinyls.
Those are vinyl. Okay, yeah. I could tell there's a sticker on the Beastie Boys one, I think, right?
Yeah, I need to take that off.
Yeah, I could tell by the
Yeah,
sticker.
I've been trying to, been trying to amass a little vinyl collection, just they're almost like art pieces to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I play them, on my record player, but for the most part, they're more or less like art pieces that I keep around the house, like just as general inspiration. Especially in the studio, I like to keep. Like I have a picture of Rick Rubin. I have two pictures of Rick Rubin actually. I have one right here.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. There's Rick right there.
Yep.
This is an original piece that my boy Josh Peters painted for me that Kwame gave me on my 30th birthday.
That's fine.
I got another.
You got the Walter White picture from the music video right there.
Yeah, same thing. That's my boy Josh Peters. He did that portrait of me. And then I got another picture of Rick on this wall. But it's like, I just like to keep Rick Rubin. Again, you asked me who I like to work with. Bucket list. Rick Rubin. Actually, he's my number one. He's my favorite producer of all time. Rick Rubin. I would love to work with him. But I just like to keep. I think visuals play a lot into how you create, and I just like to keep stuff that inspired me in the past and continues to inspire me, in and around my studio. So when I'm creating, like I could put myself in the frame of mind, like literally when I'm rapping, Rick is right next to me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when I'm making songs, I'm thinking like, what would Rick Rubin do, or what would the Beastie Boys do, or would he approve of what I'm making right now? So.
That's an influence I never heard many people say. That's unique.
You breaking up?
Oh yeah, now you're breaking up. Yeah, that's an influence. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, that's an influence that I haven't heard a lot of people speak about before, so that's unique.
Yeah, man, Rick is Rick did a lot of my favorite albums, and not just hip hop too, like a lot of stuff that I was a fan of growing up. A lot of my favorite records were done by him, whether it was the Beastie Boys, whether it was Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's like I think like certain Metallica shit, Johnny Cash, like his range as a producer is so ridiculous, and there hasn't really been a lot of guys that could kind of jump from genre to genre like him and stay relevant, so I just really admire his career as a producer.
How many vinyls would you say you have?
Maybe like 60. Nothing crazy.
You got me beat.
I'm not. It's nothing crazy, man. It's not like I wouldn't put my collection up against anybody. That's for sure.
I'm trying to get classics. I'm trying to get Cool G Raps 4, 5, 6.
Oh man, yeah. You need to get Road to the Riches.
Road to the Riches with DJ Polo. That's a good one too. Wanted Dead or Alive.
100%.
Trying to think of some other vinyls I was looking at. I want Craig Mack's first album too.
Yeah, man. Like there's a spot. There's a spot I usually go to. Like I'll pop in like once a week. When I'm out and about, and I haven't been there in a while. But usually I'll just pop in and rummage through what they have, and if it's something that catches my eye or something that seems rare. I'll pick it up, or like an essential album that meant a lot to me. I'll pick it up. But I'm far from a record collector. I'm far from any producer you would meet that has thousands of records in storage. Like I was talking to Breakbeat Lou not too long ago, and he's got like 100,000 records. So it's I'm not one to be talking about how many vinyls I own.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. That it has to be an essential album for me. I saw Capital Punishment in FYE at my local mall. And I was thinking, I said, I gotta grab this. I think it was the 25th anniversary. It was either one of the 20th or 25th anniversary edition. I saw it and I grabbed it right away.
Yeah, man, it's like, it's just certain stuff like that. Like it's just impulse buys. Like, if I'm there and it's on sale and I don't have it yet, I'm buying it.
Yeah. Same with the Big L, the Big Picture. I saw that there at the same place, FYE. I grabbed it right away. There's just certain albums. Whereas I'll see Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. I want it on vinyl, but am I going to get it right away? No. Like, it's not an essential have for me.
Exactly.
Do you feel as though reprints are as important than the original prints from the 90s?
I mean, I own reprints. Like it's,
Same.
I'm not gonna not buy it. If it's a reprint, I feel like they're very expensive. But like I said, if it's an album I want, I'm gonna buy it. I'm not at a level where it's like I'm only buying original pressings, or like I'm only buying singles on like original 45s or whatever. Like I said, it's more or less I like to listen to them in my free time, and I like them as kind of statements and art pieces that I can keep around the crib.
That's how I am. I don't even play them. That's another thing that I want to eventually get are vinyl turntables. Just bringing back the
Uh,
essence of hip hop with vinyl turntables. But I'm afraid to use the vinyls I have because I have some rare pieces. I have Foxy Brown's first album. I don't want to
yeah,
use
like
that.
you don't want to, yeah, get something that's beat up to fuck around with. You don't want to risk it something that's irreplaceable.
Yeah, I don't want to touch any of those classic 90s records. And this conversation was leading me to my next question because I saw your Instagram story earlier. You're looking for someone that can create a vinyl for Endless Summer.
Yeah. There's a company that a lot of my friends use that's just like so backed up over the next couple months in terms of orders they got to fulfill that they can't do it. So I'm just looking for any reputable company that will press up like a limited vinyl collection for this upcoming project. So I put the word out. If any of your listeners know anybody that I could reach out to get it done, I'd love to do that because the one thing that was lacking on the last album was I didn't have a physical copy to hold in my hand, or that fans could buy, or people who love the music could buy. So I just want to make sure this go around, and it doesn't have to be like exactly when the project's released, but I just want to make sure this go around I have something physical that people that supported the album can hold in their hands.
You gotta let me know when that happens too. Yes, and if any of my listeners are listening, make sure you contact Bobby J from Rockaway on Instagram at Bobby J from Rockaway or Twitter at Bobby J Rockaway to get the vinyl made for his upcoming project, which is fire. And you can expect all the fire hip hop on there, real hip hop and lyrics. But would you consider making summer classic vinyls?
I would. I want to do a trial run. See what the demand is like. See if I can move them. And then if the endless summer stuff pans out the way I want it to, I could definitely do like a deluxe package where you'll get them both together. Maybe do like a cassette tape run too. I think that would be cool to get cassette tapes. But yeah, man, like I said, like I just want to get it done. Get the physicals out to people that are going to support this next project. See what the demand is like, and go from there. If the people want it, I definitely would think about doing it for summer classics as well too.
I need both of them on vinyl. As soon as you tell me about it, I'll purchase them.
Definitely, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
Yours is free. Yours is on the house.
Are you sure? I'll pay for
Yeah.
them.
Hey, man. You're my people, so you get the special treatment.
I appreciate that. I want to get into 80s rappers who you were mentioning earlier, especially some 80s rappers who performed on Kwame's Instagram Live. How do you feel about the 80s hip hop sound? Because when we try to relive hip hop today, we always go back to the 90s. How come we don't always go back to the 80s as well? Because that was a timeless era, and even some people consider that the golden age instead of the 90s.
Well, I think it's just a generational thing, man. I think like a lot of the loudest voices in the room, in terms of like hip hop influencers and stuff, they grew up in the '90s. The '90s is their shit. Like myself included. Like I came of age in the '90s. The most influential albums for me were '90s albums. But a lot of people disregard the era, or eras rather, before it, only because they just don't. They weren't old enough. They weren't alive during those times. And you talk to any hip hop fan that's 40 plus, 45 plus. They're gonna tell you the golden era is, you know, 84 to 90 or 86 to 92. Like when I talk to Kwame, he's like, my golden age is 1986 to 1992. Like basically, Rakim to Wu Tang. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's just a difference, I think, in generations. But for me, I definitely didn't know a lot about 80s hip hop and early 80s, late 70s hip hop growing up until I met Kwame. And he kind of was like a mentor to me. You know, he put me onto, you know, Cool G Rap and Rakim and Kane and Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz and Tila Rock and, you know, just like Funky 4+1, you know, Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5. Like, those were artists that just I was not even thinking about listening to. You know what I'm saying? And just me wanting to impress him and just wanted to be like a sponge and wanted to learn everything I could about hip hop. You know, I just went to school and studied those guys. And I think at first I didn't understand it because what they were doing sounded so primitive in comparison to what I was listening to at the time. But as an adult, you know, as somebody who's in his 30s, like I go back and listen to that stuff now, and I think it's the best, you know, only because there was no predecessor to what they were doing. You know, most of those guys, when you talk about the classic rappers from the 80s, you know, whether you're talking about Rakim or G-Rap or Slick Rick or like a KRS-One, they were all different. They all had their own style. Nobody was like them. They weren't trying to be like anybody else. You know, there was no biting allowed. So it was like a collective of, you know, superheroes with their own, distinct superpower. You know what I'm saying? So once the 90s came into play, that's when you started to see rappers kind of trying to bite off each other or do what other people were doing because it was popular. You know, there wasn't as much originality as the years progressed. And I think, you know, when you look at the 80s generation, it's the most original generation, from how rappers were dressing to how they were rapping to the types of songs that they were making to their album covers to just their videos to everything. You know, I think it was a completely original generation. And I think that's like the thing that's missing the most. You know, people are just really scared to be original and be themselves. And, you know, I think you talk to any seasoned hip hop head, they're going to tell you that, you know, without the 80s, you know, you wouldn't have the 90s. You wouldn't have the golden era, you know, rappers of the 90s, because they all learned from the dudes they grew up listening to in the 80s. So, you know, you got to give it up to the 80s as far as just the overall influence and just originality.
Mm. 80s definitely had their own style too, especially the beats. The production was way different.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know what I mean? Like those, you know, again, Rick Rubin, you know, Marley Marl, Larry Smith, you know, those guys, they laid the groundwork for everybody. You know, without Marley, you know, there wouldn't be a Primo. You know what I'm saying? So, again, like, you got to give it up to the 80s.
You do. You're right. Endless Summer drops May 5th.
Yeah, man, May 5th.
May 5th.
Produced by Static Selector. I got Highly Supreme on there. I got Little D on there. I got 2 bonus tracks produced by my boy Neff. So, yeah, man, this is for the hip hop heads, man. If you like summer classics, this is, you know, in a lot of ways a continuation of that. But, you know, I'm building on it as well. So, you know, I hope people like it. I hope that they relate to what I'm saying and understand what I'm trying to do. And like I said, I'm just excited to finally be putting this new music out.
Mm-hmm. Neff has produced a lot of your tracks in the past too. When did you meet Neff? How did you guys link up to create music?
Static.
Okay.
I met Neff working with Static. He's like Static's right hand man. You know what I mean? Like, he engineers a lot of Static sessions. You know, he works on Shade 45 with him. So me and him just got cool just, you know, after I was working with Static. And, you know, he did Top Down on Summer Classics. And, you know, we just wanted to do more work together. So, you know, it was only necessary that I get him on this project as well.
Mm-hmm. Endless Summer is dropping May 5th. Is there anything else you want to get out on the airwaves here tonight? Well, not even the airwaves, but to my live stream. As I usually say, it's WSJU, but not now.
Yeah, man, just, you know, Endless Summer comes out May 5th. It's a collaboration between me and Static Selector. First single, Where I'm From, is out now on all streaming platforms, as well as the video for that. Next single, Autumn Leaves, comes out on the 29th, which is this Wednesday. Yeah, man, if you go out, you pre-save those singles or you save those singles, at least for Autumn Leaves, if you pre-save that, you'll get a copy in advance before it hits streaming platforms. Same thing with the album. You can pre-save the album and you'll get it a week before it hits streaming. And yeah, man, just stay tuned. Got more visuals coming. Again, I'm just excited, man. I'm just excited to finally, let people hear this shit.
Look fire if you had Endless Summer Ewings. Because Ewings does some of the album covers for sneakers.
Hey, man, let me get some vinyls made before I, start going down the custom sneaker. Actually, my boys at GOI Kicks might be able to do that. They actually made a custom summer classic sneaker for me. If you haven't seen that, go on my IG at Bobby J from Rockaway. Check that out. They made a pair of Tree Torn Nightlights with the summer classic graphics and color scheme, which came out crazy.
That's fire.
Yeah.
And like I said, I always say, you're representing the real hip-hop, and you have a lot of support from hip-hop legends, hip-hop producers, and even your own community. Especially you see it in the video. They look like they all support you.
Yeah, man, it was dope to, get the local response that I did with this video. A lot of people sharing it and, showing it a lot of love were the people that, are from my neighborhood, which, that means the most, you know what I'm saying? Like the song is about my neighborhood. I shot the video in my neighborhoods. So to have like the locals like co-sign it and give me the feedback that they did meant a lot.
Mm-hmm. Endless Summer dropping May 5th. Is that it, Bobby J?
Yeah, man. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at Bobby J from Rockaway. Follow me on Twitter at Bobby J Rockaway. And subscribe to that YouTube channel, youtube.com/BobbyJ.
Yeah, make sure you check it out. Bobby J, I want to thank you for zooming here tonight instead of...
Hey, man. Thank you, bro.
I already have some of the records spinning on Mad Max Radio. I got Where I'm From in there. I think I have Autumn Leaves in there. I might have that in there early for you.
Cool. Yeah, let that one go, man, because it comes out tomorrow night, midnight, so...
Yeah, I just updated the playlist yesterday, so I'm pretty sure I put Autumn Leaves in there. Gave it a little early. People are listening. The drops are all in there. Everything's in there, man. So, all the people tuning in right now, make sure you go check out Mad Max Radio, and you'll hear Bobby J's Endless Summer in there. 2 songs right now.
Hey, man, thank you, bro. I really appreciate the support, man. Like, you already know, anytime you want me on the show, I'm there.
Oh, you already know. And I wish I could have gotten you a performance this year at St. John's, too, but everything happened. Now there's no performances.
Well, you know what? I mean, people's health comes first, so once the quarantine is up and we can go back out and, enjoy concerts and shit again, you'll have to let me know.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely make sure that happens, especially next year. If I'm general manager of the radio station next year, I'll be kicking down that door at student government. Let's get going. Hopefully we'll be able to have concerts soon, though, because I'm here in fall 2021 or something. Fall 2021.
I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm sure New York is going to be, slow on the trigger with that, but hopefully in the next year and a half, we'll be able to start doing concerts again.
Yep. Let's hope. All right, Bobby J, I'm going to let you go now, and Endless Summer dropping May 5th.
Thank you, bro.
No doubt. Take care and stay safe during this time.
Peace. You too, man.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in here tonight. To me and Bobby J from Rockaway's interview. Endless Summer drops on May 5th. Real hip hop only. Make sure you go check it out. His new single that's playing right now, actually, Autumn Leaves, drops this Wednesday, April 29th on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go get it. Shout out to Greg for setting up the interview. And just wait for Endless Summer to drop. Pure fire if you're a real hip hop head. Make sure you go check that out. Download it. Follow him on Instagram at Bobby J from Rockaway. Follow him on Twitter at Bobby J Rockaway. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheRealMax, TheReelMax. And if you have stayed connected with me on Instagram and Twitter, you know that I've launched my own radio station on Live 365 Mad Max Radio. Make sure you go check that out as well, and you'll hear some of the songs from Endless Summer in that playlist. And I'll be doing live mixes on there very soon. Stay tuned. And thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Stay safe out there, and have a good night.
Things change like the seasons, autumn leaves. Listen, Pop, you'll be so surprised. Eric's sober now. Shit, he almost died. He's much older now. He shouldn't kid himself. That's why he's focused on his health. He's gotta kid himself. Your father passed. I told Denise we couldn't make it. Sent a gift to Bruce and David. Sorry, but we couldn't fake it. Cause since you left, we don't really speak as much. Or speak at all. To keep it real, we don't keep in touch. And Mom is doing good. She's retired now. After 40 years, shit'll finally quiet down. And Kelly got it down, they're finally gonna tie the knot. And me, I'm still rapping, striking while the eye is hot. Remember, Pop, when you brought me Pro Tools and told me never stop? That's the greatest gift I ever got. No cap, I just thought that you should know that. The times they are changing, if only I can go back. Until we meet again. Things change like the seasons, autumn leaves, autumn leaves, autumn leaves. Things change like the seasons, autumn leaves. I went through life thinking shit was all a breeze, but things change like the seasons, autumn leaves, autumn leaves, autumn leaves. Things change like the seasons.